So what's made some of the biggest differences in the system? When I started out with this guy right here. This was something somebody at Best Buy said, hey, while you're describing what you want, this is going to do the job for you. And I think this is a PM6005. And I got it just as it was going out of production. So I got a good deal on it. And I got a CD player with it. I got a good deal on that. And I loved it. They really made a good choice for me. I know that the Marantz sound is probably a little maybe rolled off at the top. It's never bright. I've always had to do things to kind of bring the top end out. But then when I started to learn more about what Marantz had to offer, that's when I found out about this PM8006. And I thought, I want that one for my system. So that became the object that I worked for, and I was able to get one of these. And the attraction to this ND8006 was the Bluetooth connection. And I was hoping, it was more expensive. I was hoping that the components inside of it would make my CDs sound better. So this was a huge upgrade over the PM6005 and the CD player that I had with that. And at that time I had the Infinity RS325s, and I was happy. But what happened was the cones started to sag in the RS325s, and they started to rattle, and that was a whole big thing. And then I got the CM1S2s, and that Marantz amp over there just didn't seem to have enough oomph for these CMs. So that kind of started me down the path. And I think just by luck, I ended up with a group of components that work really well together. I don't really sit here and plan my next purchase. I'm pretty content to listen to music and do other research and look at things on my phone while I'm listening. It serves me well. I eat here a lot. So it's amazingly, I got the system the way I want it, and I'm happy with that. But you always do think about, is there anything that I can do? Am I still extracting the most sound that I can out of the system? Some of the things that you're looking at here, these are yoga mats. They're like a rubber yoga mat. And the thought process here is these speakers definitely generate some vibration. And I know that there's components inside these boxes that are susceptible to vibration. And the way I found that out was I got some of those rubber cones with the ball bearings on them. And that was one of the first tweaks I bought. I bought rubberized cones, and I got some contact cleaner, and I got this audience I guess it's a surge protection box. This box actually enhances the sound a little bit, just a little. If I take it out of the system, I lose a little bit in the top end, a little bit of detail. I'm talking maybe something just barely noticeable. Like I had to switch it back and forth a few times just to make sure I wanted to keep it in the system. It's staying. It's going to stay in, because if I can get every little bit out of each piece, that could add up to something. All right, so the rubberized cones. As soon as I put them in, I thought, wow, I can't wait to turn this on and hear how much better it sounds. And it sounded horrible. It just lost all the detail. It was probably along the lines of when I twisted all the wires together in the speakers, and I lost all the detail there. So I did the opposite. I took those cones out. And I even took the rubber off the bottom of these feet. All these feet had rubber on them that they sat on like a real hard rubber, like donut. Every one of these Marantz components. And I took that rubber out. I didn't have these blocks at the time. And wow, the whole sound changed. The level of detail, I could have stopped right there. I was so happy with the way it sounded. So I've done a few things. There's actually little metal bushings up under here. That's the disadvantage. I fully intended to show each step of this system as it was being reassembled. Because there's a lot of little things, not a lot, there's a couple little things. You can see these little metal plates here. They actually tune the sound. If I put the component against the block, and believe me, the block really is just for uniformity and appearance. I don't know that the block really changes the sound, but it gives everything a uniform surface to sit on. And I was able to get even a little bit more detail out of these components by putting these little metal plates under, and then there's metal bushings under here that sit on the plates. So it's a very mechanical connection here to this block. And the detail is incredible. The detail that I get out of these components is again, I love the way it sounds. Let me shut this off, start another one.